The humans, they're they're being used as a distraction.
Can you explain or go into a little bit more depth of that for me so I can understand?
Yes, they fight and hurt each other because they're told to, but it's to cause distraction from the beings, from what's going on outside. They the worry about being attacked by terrorists. It's real that those attacks, those are for distractions.
So we worry about human terrorists, but it's actually a distraction so that we don't notice like a alien attacker from another species.
Yes, there's more paranormal activity, but
Oh, like a spiritual attack as opposed to
Yes.
aliens.
both, both. Lots of spiritual activity is going on, and they are trying to distract from that too.
What kind of spiritual activity?
Oh, all kinds. The veil between the worlds is getting so thin now. The spirits on the other side and the other realms are starting to walk in our world more.
And are we becoming more sensitive to perceive this?
We're becoming more aware. Our abilities are getting better. The more that people talk about it and are open and discuss it, the more they want to cover it up.
So is the war with the Palestinians, is that kind of a distraction?
Yes.
Does that war or the narrative of that war, does that have anything or include the use of non-character players?
Yeah, very much.
So how do they use non-character players to create these narratives? Can you explain it to us so we can understand it?
It's like a Sims game where there's just extra people that aren't real. They're just there to fill space and time. The uh when when there's school shootings and you see a school shooting in one state and another state and another state, but all the witnesses look the same. Those are non-character players. They haven't figured out how to make them look different. They use them in tragedy, they use them in conflict, but also everyday life. They're there, they're just filling in space, and for some reason, we have to have a certain amount fill in the extra space, or it doesn't feel like we're in a real timeline. So if we put these extras in our timeline, in our space, then we don't notice when there's things that are slightly off.
How much of the Earth's population do you think, or would you estimate, are non-character players?
I think over 60%, probably two-thirds of the world is non-character players.
And so are they used to create narratives or stories for the real character players, I guess I should say, to interact with or perceive?
Yes, the doppelganger
Mm-hmm.
is a word that just popped up in my mind. And I think that lack of originality brings that to the head, um, because we ran out of, whoever's doing it ran out of ideas for what they should look like. They started creating them to look like people, and you can take a picture from social media and make one look like another one and put them on the other side of the world, and they may never run into each other.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this other person that's looks identical to an actual player, but it's a non-character player.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why there's so many out there that look like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they talk about the world's population increasing, and so many people have fertility issues that it doesn't seem possible for it to increase by so much without it being something like that, that they're not just adding to the mix constantly.
So is there a way for us to tell when we are interacting with a non-character player?
Um, Sometimes they seem glitchy.
Like inconsistent in their behaviors and stuff.
Yeah, but some do actually look like they have a glitch. Like they don't track quite right, or they are off movement or off key, or just not quite.
Something rubs us the wrong way or kind of makes us feel weird
Yeah,
about them. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a feeling, that something's just not all there about them.
Right.
And some are just behaviors that you see that don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, they're just in the background of life anyway, so you don't really notice. Not meant for interaction.
What about like our like huge homeless population and that kind of stuff? Like, do those often include non-character players, or are those people just having to learn a lesson and that's just part of their journey?
Most are non-character players. The ones that are meant for interaction will interact. They end up being the ones that you end up talking to because of circumstances that bring them into your life. They're more human. I guess people describe a homeless person as being non-human, and maybe there's a reason for that, and not in a mean way, but as a character. Some just seem like they are just in the background, but they don't actually make attempts to interact.